I mean, Harp, you are dressed to the nines every single time I see you. Now, sometimes you get a little crazy with the yellows.
I mean, I'm one of those that I feel that I can pull it off. So,
no, you can.
So I roll with it. I don't run away from it. Today it's a little subtle.
That's subtle.
Being back in Alabama, I put on the 3-piece special, but it's, little houndstooth but blue. Right. I don't want to show any favoritism, but it's just a good print. So, a little solid blue for being back home.
I love that that's subtle. That would be like the most exciting thing I would ever wear right
That's
there.
New Year's Eve for you, right?
Yeah, I know.
It's Bourbon Street in New Orleans for Brown.
That's right. That is it for me.
Hey, so do you have I know the answer to this before I ask it. You've got your own tailor in Charlotte, right?
No, not actually in Charlotte. No. So mostly my suits, I had a guy named Brett that I used since I was drafted. My agency bought me my very first nice suit, custom-made suit when I first got drafted, and I stayed with him my whole career. And I would either, I just bought less suits from him the older I got. And I also have one of my best friends. His name's Timmy Doe, and he and Chris, they have a company down in New Orleans called Fellow. So I mostly get all my suits from Fellow because they give me a better price. I'm trying to get sponsored by them. So hopefully this NIL will go through for me.
So before we get into the NIL, you've still got a place in New Orleans, right?
Yes, I do. I still got a condo there. Stay there forever. I just got inducted to the Saints Hall of Fame. So hats off to me and mostly my family because everybody stuck with me when you didn't get anything for being a fan of Roman Harper at the beginning, but now it really gets to pay off. So I'm just excited that I get to go down there and celebrate everybody else that stuck with me and that were there with me to beginning because it's really about them, not me.
Every time I see a 41 jersey, I was in Miami for Rams and Dolphins, and your boy Vilma was calling the game. And I remember I had a conversation with you that weekend, but I saw a 41 Saints jersey, and I'm like, man, that girl is representing Harp. And I continue to forget that Alvin Kamara's got 41.
No, the only good thing the best thing about, first of all, AK is a great dude. I'm a big fan of him. I know him personally. He treats me awesome. And he always gives me love because I'm like the original. But he's really got our jersey sales all the way up. I still take claim of it. Especially when you only see it in the front. You don't actually get in the back. And my wife really played a joke on me early this year because she sent my daughter. She said, hey, go out there and sit out there and just watch TV. I want to do something for you. I'm like, oh, okay. So my daughter comes out in one of her old Harper jerseys. And I'm like, okay. She's like, yeah, Daddy, I want to watch football with you tonight. I'm like, come on, sit down. Let's go. And then she sat down, and on the back of it, she had written off, they had taped over Harper and it had Kamara on there.
Oh.
And she was like, yeah, Daddy, out with the old, in with the new. I was just like,
man.
Just low. You not winning in your own house is I'm used to it now, though.
Yeah, I think the last time we talked to you, you were going into the Hall of Fame, and you've gone through that experience now. So tell me about that moment.
The biggest thing was COVID hit, so we didn't actually get to celebrate it. So we just pushed it back a year.
Okay.
But I'm really looking forward to it. When I got the news, I can't say I was shocked because I know the guys that went before me who are all my old teammates, and I have a more decorated career than them, and I'm not trying to, humble brag over there, but it's just what it is. So it was just more about the timing of it, when I retired, how many years you had to be out and ready to go in. I'm really excited to go in with my teammate Jari Evans, who I think is a legit chance to have a true Hall of Fame career when it's all said and done. And that would really be a really big icing on the cake for our draft class in 2006, where we had so many guys all play 10-plus years, from Reggie Bush, myself, Jari Evans, Rob Ninkovich, who moved on and did great things in New England, to Zach Strief, Marcus Colston, all of us being together now, all of us eventually trying to get to the Saints Hall of Fame. And just it's what really kind of jump-started this whole thing. We can also take Drew Brees a little credit for that because he came in with us as well.
Roman Harper is with us, SEC Network, former Alabama great. Do you think most guys know when it's time to retire? Was there that – seriously, though, was there a moment where you're like, yep, that's it?
Yes, for me it was. So I went back to New Orleans. First of all, I was ready to retire after 10 years. We just lost a Super Bowl, and I just felt like – it's like, man, that just can't happen. That can't be the last taste of real football that I have in my life after I've been playing since I was, third, fourth grade. That is a Super Bowl loss. I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like God was telling me to be gone with Jets. So then next the Saints start calling. My wife's on me really bad because I didn't want to go back to New Orleans. I didn't leave in a good place. I did not want to go back there. That was the one thing I told my agent. I didn't want to go to New Orleans, and I didn't want to go to Atlanta. And Sean Payton keeps calling me, blah, blah. He wants me to come back. My wife's like, you need to stop. Like, he's like an old boyfriend that every time he calls, you're all giddy on the phone. You're smiling and going on. He just don't do it. And I was like, I don't know, maybe. And I ended up going back. And we're playing against Arizona. I'm starting that game. I have to play special teams, too, which was terrible.
Yep.
So I'm like, man. And after the game, we won the game. Everybody's excited. I played a pretty good game. And literally after the game, I was just sitting in my locker with all my pads on like, dude, what am I doing? Like, I am tired. My hips hurt. Like, things were hurting on me that I'd never had before.
I played special teams.
I played special teams. Not only that, but the returner outran me to the corner. It was like, man, I am not the same. I was like, dude, what am I doing? I played all these plays. I played like 80 reps. I'm like, this is not – I don't have the same feeling. And at that point, I was like, yeah, it's probably good. Yeah, it's about that time. It's really that time. So at that point, I already knew I had less days ahead of me than I had that I'd already played. And I was just ready for it to be over because I don't care about tackles, stats. At the end of the day, it's all about the respect and relationships that I earned while playing.
This is that time of year rolling into NFL camps where everybody believes they can win a Super Bowl, but really if you're on a roster that can win one.
Yeah, it's only like 9 teams.
Well, and I'm a Rams fan, and I'm bummed out now. I just found out Cam Akers ruptured his ACL about an hour ago.
He had a better year last year than he had at any time at point at Florida State.
I agree, and I was having this conversation. This is how big of a Rams fan. I'm on vacation last week. And we're walking down the beach, and I'm like, there are 5 Rams, and I'm getting her to guess. 5 Rams we can't lose this year.
Oh.
And so we went through them. And Cam Akers was number 3 on my list because that offense, as good as Matt Stafford can be, in play action and what Akers can do out of that backfield, he is such a versatile guy. So it's put a pit in my stomach. But I wanted to ask you, my question was going to be, have you ever been in that training camp where you lose one of those guys that is so pivotal that it could cost you a Super Bowl?
Yes. Okay, I'm going to give you some hope.
Okay.
All right?
Good.
Oh, wow.
This is hope for you. In 2015, that preseason, we lost Kelvin Benjamin. I was with the Carolina Panthers. Kelvin Benjamin was the number 1 receiver for us the year before in 2014. He was the first-round pick in 2014. And I was like, there's no way. My wife and I were actually considering, trying to have another baby, blah, blah, blah. We wanted a boy. And when Kelvin Benjamin got hurt, she said, there's no way we're having a baby. You guys are going to be terrible. I got to drink at these games. Like, not happening. Not happening. Not happening. Like, there's no way. I was like, you're right. You're right. We're going to be terrible because we were already really bad on offense the year before. And now we lose our best receiver. We got to be awful. And lo and behold, Cam Newton became Cam Newton that year. Had the whole world dabbing. And we went on to the Super Bowl. We lose, but we did go to the Super Bowl.
So how did you find the replacement? And I forgot who that guy was.
I couldn't even tell you. It was a complimentary of guys. It was Ted Ginn stepped up. Devin Funchess stepped up. We had Philly Brown stepped up, made a lot of plays. We had Jericho Cotchery, who was a Wiley veteran, stepped up and made a lot of plays. Greg Olsen was who he was, of course. Even Ed Dixon, that tight end, stepped up and made some plays. So it really came a collective that when you lose sometimes your best player, you become more aware. And all of a sudden other guys – it's not like they're not talented enough to do it. They're in the league, so they all can ball. It's just about the opportunity. And what do they do with the opportunity? Are they ready? And are they truly, truly ready for that opportunity when you're not really called, you're not expecting to go out there and run for 1,000 yards or rush for 100 yards a game. But when you get when you get your name called, you got to go out there and step up there and do that. Cam Akers did the same thing. He wasn't expected to be the running back that he became last year when he came to the Rams.
Roman Harper is with us, former Alabama great, now SEC Network. More from him in a moment. A reminder, our coverage here presented in part by Ballantrae Golf Club, 620-GOLF. 620-4653 is the number to make a tee time at Ballantrae Golf Club. 18 holes of championship golf just off I-65 in Pelham. They keep it in phenomenal condition all the time, so go out there and check it out. 620-GOLF, 620-4653, ballantraegolf.com. So let's talk about your old team. Let's talk about Alabama. I mean, we just assume it's going to be the same every year.
Keeps it rolling, huh?
But I really think, though, Harp, I think the Alabama defense is going to be about as good as he's had probably in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. So, and that's a good thing, but at the same time, it doesn't mean as much as it did 4 or 5 years ago because the rules dictate to where defensively you're just not going to be as dominant. There is no such thing as a dominating defense anymore. The rules just don't allow you. To allow your offensive lineman to go down the field and still be able to throw the ball is a cheat code. I mean, in Madden, that is cheating.
Right.
So But yes, they're going to have to lean on that defense, especially early in the season where we don't know what the offense really is. They're replacing a lot of offensive linemen. They got to replace the running back. The quarterback's brand new. All the receivers are going to be young guys that we're not used to seeing, besides outside of John Mechie and Bolden. So, it's going to be interesting to see how, you're just hoping that the defense holds them on until the offense starts to find their groove, and they'll figure it out from there, because talent's not the issue. And like you said, it's all about Nick Saban. I don't care who you always trust whatever he says. Whatever he says is the gospel, because we've seen it and it works. And no matter who the coach is or what other coordinator he brings in or the players that come in, they always have a certain tier of level of productivity and a product that they put on the field that nobody can match.
Is that the one rule you would change to sort of give the defense a fighting chance, is to hold the lineman at the line of scrimmage?
Yes, that is – you don't, as a defensive guy, as a safety, who my key was sometimes the end man on the line of scrimmage, whether that be a tight end or offensive lineman. If that offensive lineman can come up the field, it's run.
Right.
It's run. Like, there is no pass if he's up the field. And the moment, they teach you as a free safety, when the tackle, end man on the line of scrimmage, shows his numbers, it's pass. Find work. And if he fires off, it's run. Not exactly firing off, but once he gets down the field, it's run. So it to me, and it slows down. It's not so much about secondary as much as linebackers. Your linebackers don't get to free flow and react. Your linebackers don't get to run downhill and make tackles for losses, because the lineman coming down the field doesn't automatically equal run. They just throw it right behind you when the linebacker moves with the run-pass options that they allow the college offenses to do. I would not harp on that rule as much as I would the targeting rule. The targeting rule is awful as well, because I've never seen in any other sport or any other league where you punish more amateur athletes more than you do the professional athletes at the game. Why do you kick these players out? Why is there not a flagrant 1 or 2? Why is there not 1 or 2 fouls and then remove the player? Because right now you're just kicking them out. You're not teaching them anything. And if there's not a teachable moment when I'm watching the game and I'm seeing a hit and I don't know what you're supposed to do as a defender to not get the flag, because as a safety I'm taught to either make a play on the ball or separate man from ball. And I have to be able to do that. And I'm hitting players and receivers, tight ends, running backs that are all bigger than me. So what do you want me to do? And I have a headgear on for a reason. It's for protection. It's not as a weapon. It is for protection. So I'm able to use those things. I don't want to expose my shoulder too much, because now I'm blowing my shoulder out because I'm hitting a guy that outweighs me by 35 pounds. And you don't want me to hit him up high, all right? So I understand that. So you want me to blow his knees out. Well, now I'm seeming like a dirty player. So where is the target area? And if you want to minimize the target area as a defender when I'm trying to tackle the guy, that's in the center of his core. So that is where all his strength is at, and it is not how you actually deliver a separating blow. The separating blow happens when you go up from a rising blow in any quarter. So your quarters, you split a man in 4 quarters, low, low, high, high. And that is where you quarter a guy, and that's where you get your leverage to where now you have the momentum to knock him out or knock him off the ball.
That is the most frustrating thing about watching football right now.
I hate the target rule.
Oh, it's terrible. So name, image, and likeness, you brought this up. We just got this tweet. Nick Saban is talking at a Texas High School Coaches Association convention today. He was asked about NIL. Apparently, Bryce Young is doing quite well. Quote, our quarterback has already approached ungodly numbers, and he hasn't even played yet. If I told you what it is, it's almost 7 figures.
Yeah.
This guy has not started a game at Alabama. This money is insane. Where does this go? I mean, what direction? I mean, how do you view this? Is everybody going to get paid?
No, everybody's not going to get paid. It's going to be high-end guys, quarterbacks, big universities, and it's also going to be Instagram influencers, Instagram and YouTube. So often we're on the outside and we're old school. We think brick and mortar type sponsorships, dollars, right? Like car dealerships, other things of that nature. But it's really going to be the social media push that's going to really change this thing. That's really going to give so many athletes outside of the quarterback or the star players the opportunity to make a lot of money. I think that is what's going to be the real push. And I don't feel bad for the NCAA. They had their opportunity to get ahead of this 10 years ago when the Ed O'Bannon thing broke, right? You had plenty of time to do this. But the fact that you want to be a dinosaur and choose not to change or not to give up anything because you don't have to, because there's no competition in the marketplace of the college athletic space, so you didn't have to do anything. And all these commissioners, head coaches, presidents, everybody, athletic directors, they've all gotten more raises. They've all gotten fatter pockets in the years since. And now you're going to have pandemonium because you opened up Pandora's box, and you're going to have pandemonium for the next 4 or 5 years. And I don't care that and all it's going to do is somebody's going to overpay. And that's what happens in a free open market. Somebody's going to overpay. I see it all the time in free agency in the NFL. People overpay for players. And when you had the chance to do something about it, you did not do it. And now you're going to have to deal with the consequences. I think it's 3 or 4 years of all these guys getting way overpaid and different things, and we don't know what it's going to be. And that's not our fault. I'm happy it's going to happen. But the money's going to come from boosters and donors. That's where all the money comes from. And they are usually smart business people, and they don't make a lot of bad business decisions. So once they make 1 or 2 of these deals and these players are bust or they do not work, they're not going to say – they're going to no, I'm good. I'm not going to sign up for that. And the market will set itself.
All right, you got to love, though, Nick Saban, greatest of all time, this far into his career, such a big curveball change at the end of his career, but he embraces it, man. He's up there bragging, basically, that my quarterback's about to be $1 million quarterback. Come play for me. I'm not some stick in the mud. That you got to admire Nick Saban thinking like that. There are some coaches that don't adjust well.
Yeah, it's not a shock, though, but that's why Nick's been able to stay relevant for so long, because he's a hard-working guy. He is the crocodile. He's not the dinosaur. He has evolved. He has changed with time. He has done whatever it takes to continue to survive and be at the best of what he does. That is who he is, and that if you're around him long enough, you just pick it up. And that's why the coaches around him, he grinds the coaches. He grinds his players because he wants to stay ahead of every opportunity and be prepared for anything that is thrown at them. And this NIL thing is just another thing. Alabama will take care of itself. The biggest thing that I want is to make sure we educate these players and these young men and women about the opportunities that are ahead of them, that it's okay. Make sure you start your own LLC, that you are your own brand, that you have more tax benefits when you're a corporation versus your own personal thing and just collecting the check. So all those things right there is what I would like to make sure that we continue to harp on, that we're educating these young athletes that are all of a sudden now going to start getting a little bit more money, when what they should have did was say, it come to every coach and say, hey, can we all take $1 less $1 million? Can we all take $200 less $1,000 on the campus and give it out to all the athletes? And I bet every athlete would have jumped on that chance.
Roman Harper, the former Alabama great, now SEC Network, with us on the next round. It gets played up, though. Like, well, this is going to be an issue in the locker room because Bryce Young's going to be making all this. The left guard's making nothing. You played in locker rooms where that was the case in the pros. How's it not an issue in the pros? Will it be an issue in college?
It's not an issue in the pros because everybody's still getting a check.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying the best thing that should have did was a coach take $1 less $1 million and then everybody gets paid,
right,
including everybody, all athletes. But they didn't do that, so now you got what you got, and now you're going to have to deal with that inside the locker room, that, well, man, I'm not getting mine, and I'm not getting this. Well, they're also going to have guys transfer because they're not getting theirs and they're not getting this. And they're going to be able to go somewhere else and get those things too. So you have to – it's going to be a revolving door. And this is the pandemonium that we signed up for. You're going to have 3 years of this at least until it all works its way out. And I like the pandemonium because I'm like, stick it to the man and stick it to the NCAA because they had their chance to do something about it, and they did nothing. So because you did nothing, this is what you get. And I'm kind of excited to just kind of watch the world of college football burn down for a little bit.
Okay, I know you like trash TV.
You know I love trash TV.
Okay, so my favorite show now, and I just got introduced last week. I'd heard of it. I'd never seen it.
Love Island.
YouTube.
Love Island. It comes on after
Well, I'm
Big
going to
Brother.
get you to tell me yours in a second. But have you heard of Hot Ones on YouTube?
No.
A guy named Sean Evans. He hosts it, and so he'll sit down with a different personality, and he's got 10 different hot sauces. Oh. And so you have to try each of the hot sauces. It is amazing. Like, it sounds ridiculous, but the conversation is great.
Does it gradually get hotter? Or?
Oh, yeah. And so it's on the Scoville scale. And so it starts off as like just a regular kind of almost a Tabasco. And by the time you get to the end, I mean, people are dying. People have tapped out, like can't finish this.
I saw something like this on MTV or VH1 as well.
That's the Hot Wing Challenge.
Yeah, they have the
right?
Hot Wing Challenge one. Yeah, it's
Harp,
something similar.
You got to watch this.
Hot
I watched
Ones.
the one with Gordon Ramsay. And like the one with Gordon Ramsay has got like 100 million views. I mean, it's crazy, but it is, and Gordon Ramsay is at his best. About 1,000 F-bombs dropped. He is incredible. But you got to watch Hot Ones. But what are you watching right now?
Love Island. He just told you.
I do. I have gotten a little bit into Love Island.
Right.
You know what I've gotten into?
Is there true love on Love Island?
No. Let me tell you the one that I've kind of gotten into that's kind of out there. All right, is Love After Lockdown. Oh my gosh.
So somebody gets out of prison?
I've seen the promos.
Yes.
I've seen the promos.
Did they meet in prison?
So they usually meet while the person is incarcerated.
One in and one out.
Yeah, one in and one out. And then they've developed this relationship. First of all, I don't even know how you meet people locked up. That's
if I'm in prison, how do I meet somebody that's out of prison?
I don't know, but they definitely put a lot of money on their books. That's one thing that every single one of them has had. And it's just crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. I mean, it's a show. And that is my new, like.
Is it VH1?
Yeah, it's a VH1 or A&E.
You were locked into
I'm
VH1.
all over. I'm all over the place.
How did you find VH1? I don't even know where that is anymore.
I don't know,
It's in the 330s, I think.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a YouTube streamer, so it's just what it is, YouTube TV, and I'm all about reality trash TV. I've been like that way for years. LT knows it.
Forever.
Forever.
But watch
from
Hot
Judge
Ones.
Mathis. I still watch Maury all the time. My wife tries to get on to me. She's like, Maury's not even real. And I'm like, you better shut your mouth. Right?
Is he still doing pregnancy tests every day?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day.
And then we do rundowns, from like looking back in the past.
Yeah, you go find out what happened after the test.
All that.
Yeah.
Redmont Vodka is one of our great sponsors. Look at Barkley over there. You don't look like you would start a vodka. You look like a vineyard owner to me, like you'd be a red wine guy.
I am a red wine guy. I do really, really enjoy wet wine. Rest in peace to Will Smith. He's the one, my former teammate that passed away, that got murdered. The one that put me on red wine. My rookie year, I showed up. We go defense dinner. I'm drinking like Budweisers, my normal college stuff.
I bet you're paying for it, though.
Yeah, I was paying for it. and then he was like, man, you got to try red wine. And I've been on it ever since. But I'm more of a Crown Royal guy, personally, if I'm going to do a spirit.
So no vodka?
I mean, during the day, I would prefer vodka, like a hot day, because I don't want to be drinking brown liquor in the middle of the day. I'm trying to be a little bit classy.
Can we give you a bottle of Chuck's vodka?
I would love one. Okay. That's Chuck's?
Oh, yeah.
That's Chuck's.
He owns it.
I'll text Chuck, man, when I get off, when I get out of here, and tell him I'm hooked up.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh,
Please
we'll hook
do.
you up. Yeah, we got plenty
please.
back there. Plenty of Redmont vodka.
He drinks plenty of it.
Hey, Charles is a great time. I've had the pleasure of getting to meet him here in Birmingham. The first time I got to meet him, I was with some of my friends. We show up at a bar, and he happened to be there. He was there.
Well, that's shocking.
Yes, that's not earth-shattering there.
This is when he was back here. He was really spending some time here because his mom was sick, and it was
Right.
when she was about to pass away.
Right.
So he was really like focused here. But he was out one night, and I just happened to be in the same place. And he was loud. He was cutting up. And I was like, this guy is awesome. Yeah. And he's exactly how he is on the TV screen. He is the same. And I was nervous. We left the place, and I was like, man, I should have went and said something to him. My boy's like, dude, if anybody can say something to Charles Barkley, like, you can talk to him. Like, you're you. Like, say something. So I said, you're right. So I went back, and I said, Mr. Barkley. And he said, I'm Charles. My name is Charles. And he turned around. He's like, oh, man, you're Roman Harper. And he, like, pulled me to the side, and he knew who I was. I was just totally floored. But he keeps up with every single athlete that comes from the state of Alabama because there's not a lot of us. And he's just a big fan of anybody from Alabama. He still texts me to this day and checks on me, and I do the same. And it's just really cool to actually, as you get to grow up, man, and, you never know the people that you're gonna run into in life or who are gonna influence you and who you're fans of, who actually may be a fan of you. And it's just really cool that, the older I've gotten, the more experiences I've got to have, just running into people like that, man, and actually like, man, this guy knows who I am. Well, it's a really humbling experience.
He gambles on the NFL a lot, so trust me, he's had money against you and for you.
That's the real truth.
That is it, yes. He is Roman Harper. Go follow him on Instagram at Harp41, at Harp_41, at Harp_41. That's how you keep up with him. See him on the SEC Network. Always fun, my man.
Thanks, guys, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure, and I always come on with you guys. It's never an issue. I'm just glad I get to see your faces.
I know.
Haven't seen anybody in so long. It's good.
We're still good looking. Don't worry.
You are, and that shirt is not subtle.
No, it is not subtle. You're right.
It's not subtle.
This is one of the most out there shirts I've got.
Yep, it's Mardi Gras.
Butterflies?
It's butterflies, bumblebees. Are you a golfer?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Peter Millar.
Peter Millar. Yeah,
they make weird shirts.
They are, and now Peter Millar, the creator of that, branched off. He had to do a couple years where he couldn't do anything, but now he's with Johnny O. So Johnny O's another brand that's starting to pick up a little bit. My agent, he's invested in it, so he's always trying to get me to plug it.
Johnny O.
A little Johnny O plug. He'll be happy I did that.